Are you gonna be like, oh my god, wow, I saw a black girl, like, okay, and you can just literally Google it, a black girl, and it will come up. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wenta and I live here in Busan, South Korea, and I've lived here for about like a little bit over a year. So before I say anything more, there's construction happening and I'm sorry if you can hear the noise. If it's too loud, I'm going to record this again, but if not, this headphones should work. Today, as you can already see by the title, we're going to be talking about a kind of touchy subject, and it's about being black in Korea. Fun. But before I start, I would like to tell everyone that I'm not making this video to bash Korea or its culture or even just the people. I am generally making this video because I've had quite a few people ask me to make it, and they're just curious about what it's like to be black in Korea. So I thought, why not share my experience and my opinion, and try not to generalize. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Before we start, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos of life in Korea. So, as a black woman in Korea, I would like to say that my experience isn't all great, but it's also not like horrible to the point where I want to leave. Obviously, I signed my contract again to stay for a second year because I think that whatever the negative stuff that I'm going to talk about is something that I can live without. Okay? Or I can live with. I don't know. But anyway, so as you guys might already know, Korea is a homogenous country, so they're not used to seeing different looking people, you know, in their everyday lives. So it is a little bit difficult for them to just be cool about it when they see black girl or just like a white girl or a guy or, you know, whatever. So like just different races. So every foreigner, like whether it's white, black, brown, or just Asians from different countries, they're treated differently. They're either like looked at differently for different reasons. So I'm going to talk about my experience because that's all I know. They see the whiter you are, the prettier you are, or the better looking you are. So in my mind, I thought, okay, well, so then they think that black people are ugly. But that's not the case because I've had multiple Koreans give me like a compliment to me saying like that I look pretty and all that. So then I'm confused because they don't think that darker Koreans are pretty. So that's still a question to me. Like have not been answered, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so the first thing I'd like to talk about is the stares. Like people just like stare at me, and whenever Sam and I are out in public, we both get stared at, but for different reasons. So I don't know why they stare, but it's just different. That's what it is. It's just different. But it is, at first it was annoying and now I'm used to it. But at first, every time I would leave my apartment, I'm just feeling so self-conscious because I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get stared at. But what if something is wrong? Like they're gonna laugh at me, or you know, what if like my zippers are down? I don't know. Like I'm always paranoid leaving the house because I know as soon as I step feet outside of this house or the apartment, then I know that I'm gonna be stared at. So I try to like look presentable at all times, which was kind of like exhausting. But by this time, I'm kind of like over it. Like I usually have my headphones in if I'm walking alone, and I just like worry about my thing. I don't really care if they're staring at me and stuff like that. But like usually in like grocery stores and things like that, you just see little kids like double take and then just like stare. And most of the time their parents will be like, oh, let's go, stop, and like, you know, just like drag them away. Other times the parents will start to stare with them. Usually it's the older women, because the older women here are called ajumas, and ajumas are like little bosses. Like they just they think they can do whatever they want and get away with it. So they'll like push you and shove you in the train, and like they don't care. So they like stare hardcore. And now I just don't care. But before I was just like always so self-cautious, like having to check myself. But now I'm like, they're probably not gonna see me again, ever. And if it's in my neighborhood, what's up? Anyway, so another thing is touching. Oh my god, that actually still bothers me so much. Touching specifically my hair. People just tend to like touch my hair without asking my questions, like asking me like if it's okay, especially if my hair is out and big. They're just drawn to it, and they just like, and it's just so like I said, ajumas, they think they can do whatever they want and get away with it. So usually ajumas would be the ones to come and touch my hair. And a lot of times they would first ask me like, oh, is it perm? I would say, no, it's not. No, oh, natural? And they would like, you know, touch it. And it's like, okay, whatever. But they, first off, they don't just touch it like, oh, cute, cute. No, like they dig in there, and I'm just like, oh my god, what are you trying to find? Like there's nothing there. But it's just like, I can literally feel their fingers in my scalp. Like that's how, like they just dig. I don't understand. But so like usually when I can see them, it's like, okay, I'm expecting it. But the worst part is when I'm waiting and like to cross, or like for just the light to turn green or something. When I'm standing and waiting, I usually, like I said, have my headphones in, like I'm in my zone, and I just feel a hand behind me. Like I always like freak out because like I'm just like on defense mode then, or like I just get startled, you know, like I'm just like, the frick, who are you? What do you want? And then they just say yopoda, you know, or like pretty, and they just like ding it. And like I don't know enough Korean to be like stop or anything like that. I just like, you know, and yeah, that is what it is. So that is one thing that still bothers me, as you could tell, and it happens quite often. And I also get comments even from like my students, mind you, they're like 9th grade high school in America, so they're that age, and they're really like weirded out when I put my hair up in a bun. They think it's silly, or they would just like giggle, and to me it's like, hey, like it's just a hairstyle, like calm down. But then it gets kind of tiring having to explain it. And the students respect me so much, and it's not because they're disrespectful. They think it's just so fascinating. And if they don't like giggle, they're just like staring, and like it's just distracting them. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I won't do it again. So I think I've had my hair up in a bun during like work time, maybe like twice or something. Otherwise, I only do that like on weekends or like in the evenings. So yeah, that's with touching actually. So another thing is accommodation, and specifically with makeup. Korea is not really accommodating with makeup for Black people. So their foundation is, I think the darkest foundation I've seen so far is lighter than my concealer, and that's a problem. But also I go to any new like makeup store that I see just in case they have it, and I have not found any. But anyway, so yeah, and I know that like recently Fenty just came to Seoul, which is like 2 hours train ride away from here, so it's not something I can just get up and go. And with this whole corona thing, it's obviously not something I can do. But as far as here in Busan, it is the second largest city, so you know, it's not like, there's still a lot of foreigners, and like there's a good amount of Black people. So yeah, I don't know, they don't carry any dark foundations. So, and it's all the different makeup lines too. It's not like a drugstore or anything. It's like literally everywhere. I have not been able to find, and I even went to like a department store and things like that. So it is a little sucky. So I didn't know about this before I came, so when I ran out, I ordered on Amazon to ship to my house in America, and then I had my family deliver it to me, which was like just a hustle. But when I went to America like recently, I stocked up. So that's what I'm doing. When the corona is gone, I'm gonna go to Seoul and try it out and see if they have it. But that's something that I can live with. I can just stock up, you know, so that's fine. So lastly is pictures. Okay, so listen, I would like to say that taking pictures of people in public in Korea is illegal. Okay, I've read so many articles that like, and comments and things like that of like, if you vlog in Korea, you're supposed to blur just like random people's faces out. Even if it's like half their face, you gotta blur it out, and like just, it's so, they're so sensitive. But I like catch people taking pictures of me in public so many times. I've caught them so many times, and it's really annoying. Like, I'm so annoyed by that. So with this, I have like two like quick stories to tell you guys. Okay, so the first incident is after church. It was a group of girls. It was like 5 of us, and we were all black, and we were walking to a park, and we were headed to the park, and then there was a family, like a husband and wife and like their kid, walking away from the park. So they're coming towards us, and we're just talking, and we kind of like, as he's getting closer, we see him like get his phone and his camera, and we kind of didn't, like, we saw it, but we didn't think of it as anything. And then as he got closer, he started taking pictures of us. Okay, and if you know anything about iPhones in Korea, they, because of this whole like no pictures in public law, you cannot mute the photo. Like, you can put it on live and it still makes noise, but you cannot, like, not like American iPhones where you can mute it and then when you take a picture you can't hear anything. It's not like that. You can hear the clicking sound everywhere with iPhones, and definitely with Samsung and all that stuff. So you hear his phone click, 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 and taking pictures of us, and I'm literally like looking at him like, well, first off, what are you doing? What are you doing with the photos? Like, what are you gonna do with the photos? Are you gonna be like, oh my god, wow, I saw a black girl? Like, okay, and you can just literally Google it, a black girl, and it will come up. So we were all so annoyed, but in these situations, we don't speak enough Korean to stand up for ourselves, or like we don't know if they know English, and I definitely don't want to make a scene or like a fool out of myself. So I kind of just keep walking, and it's kind of, it's not right, you know. It's just really annoying. A second story is actually, I don't remember if these were like all Koreans, but I'm pretty sure they were like Russians too. But we were walking, and it was here in Korea. We were walking with my friend that's a black girl, and Sam and I, and then they kind of like smiled at us, and we thought, hey, like, you know, you guys are being nice, and we smiled back, and they were like, oh, can we take pictures? And we're like, okay. So then they turned to Sam and they asked if he can take the picture, and then at this point my friend and I, we're both black girls, and we're in this picture, and then they were like, oh, smile, chocolate, and they're like pointing at us and saying chocolate, and I'm literally like, that's why you want to take a picture with me? Like, bye, we don't want to take a picture. And so it kind of scares me because I don't know where these pictures are going, first off, and like, it's just a whole like level of disrespectful. Like, stare at me, like, just look at me up and down, and that's enough. You don't need my picture. And so yeah, these are some of the things that I deal with as a black woman in Korea. But again, this is just my experience, and I don't want you to think that I have a horrible experience here in Korea. I actually have a great experience. Like I said, these are some things that I can live, I can just be okay with, or not to be okay with, but just get over it and move on. Because after all, I'm not here for like lifetime. I'm literally here just meanwhile, you know, and it will be okay. So this is the tea for today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do, and I can go on and talk more about this, but if you have any questions, you can go ahead and comment down below, and I will make sure to answer your questions. Again, I'm not making this video to bash anyone or anything. This is simply my experience, and I hope that you like this video. I hope you found it educational or whatever, but see you in our next video. Bye.